to choose their career, the money they receive, basically the person that they would like to be, as opposed to the person that they were or they are in real life. My goal here is, my paper is persuasive, but I did have to do some research on it for you guys to understand exactly what it is and how to recognize it, because it's very, very serious. The virtual gaming was created in the 1980s and has become increasingly popular. It is a worldwide epidemic. The entire world is dealing with all of it. And of course, like I said, it allows people to escape into the virtual world. The United States has led the way and was one of the first countries to begin the online gaming studies. More recently, Italy, Pakistan, China, Korea, Taiwan, and the Czech Republic have followed suit. China, to battle the epidemic, they regularly shut down internet cafes, and they have actually instituted a law to limit the number of hours a gamer can play online. So the government has stepped in there, and my mission is to hopefully get the United States to go as far as that, because online gaming is being compared to heroin addicts. You have the same symptoms, denial, you do not take care of yourself, you do not eat properly, you have one focus. In heroin addicts, it's the drug. In online gaming, it's the game. And it's a very serious issue that affects not just the person, but everyone that surrounds that person. And in the 1980s, the games were single-player games, and it was really the person against the machine, which was no big deal. You know, once you stopped playing, you had to start over again. Nowadays, they have it when you leave the virtual world, you can actually come in as to where you left out, really drawing the gamer in to succeed more, because it doesn't discourage them from having to start over again. They've become very, very, very sophisticated. They can, like I said, they can create their own characters. They can look like whatever they want. They can have whatever job, their dream job. They can collect as much money they want. They can create their own ideal family, have their own house, and etc. The problem is the amount of time it takes to gain the assets that these gamers are after. And we're talking many, many, many hours online. As far as, there was one study in China where a man literally died from being on the computer too long, from heart failure, because his body shut down from no food, no water, nothing. They think about nothing else but the game and achieving the game, being the winner of the game. And they're also playing against everyone in the world. Being relatively new, this is where the persuasive part gets. Get to that. Being relatively new, I would just like for some of you guys to recognize the symptoms of it and be more aware of it, especially if you have teenagers in your home, or even just look within yourselves and to see if you are actually an online gamer. And it's very, very common, and most of us are ignoring it as though it's not a disease at all, when in all actuality it is a disease. The symptoms would be the same as a drug addict: loss of interest of everyone around them. They start to become very defensive and angry, always defending their time on the computer, stating, I'm doing this on the computer, I'm doing that, but in all actuality, they're doing the virtual gaming. once you recognize that you do have a problem or a loved one does have a problem, you may see a therapist. And at this point in time, a lot of therapists are not even recognizing it as an illness, and they're not treating it, or they're not diagnosing it to treat it. They're diagnosing other things. But once you do find a therapist that does diagnose it, there is treatment for it. First of all, you have to take away the game. That's detox. Right there, okay? Point blank, you take away the game. But then, not only do you detox from the game, you also have to go through rehab, such as in a drug addiction. Some of the things that you can do in rehab is watching TV so that you can learn to interact with other people again. Role model kind of thing. Read books, look at magazines. A lot of therapists suggest finding the one person that the person confides in, the gamer confides in the most, and communicating with them, learning communication skills over again. So they basically have to learn how to function in society as a whole again, away from the game. After researching all of this, it really opened my eyes to my son and his Xbox 360 that's hooked up to the router, and he's always in his room, you know, and I never really realized, you know, I hear him talking to other people on the TV, and I know it's a game, but now I'm starting to open up my eyes, and I'm limiting his time that he's allowed to do that. And considering the desk is not in, or the router is not in his room, it's real easy for me just to unplug that Ethernet cord in the middle of a game. He's not too happy when I do that, but sometimes I have to do what I have to do. And that's just for his safety, so he doesn't become addicted to it, and I don't want him to start failing in school and things like that. Another thing that we need to look at is why this happens. And again, we go back to the same as drug addictions. You know, people may start using the drug from low self-esteem, dysfunctional families, neglect, their ego, and the list goes on and on and on. I really feel that the media needs to be more involved in acknowledging it and becoming proactive with it. And getting the word out is very, 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 very important to me. And another thing that I would like to mention is Facebook. I have recently began using Facebook, and I was introduced to it by a girlfriend of mine that was looking up old high school friends, and it is a great place to look up old high school friends. Wonderful. Catching up with old people that you haven't seen in 20 years is just absolutely wonderful. But another thing that I noticed on there is that most of my friends, I get an invitation to Yeovil or Farmville or whatever it is, and I'm like, you know, and I went to visit Yeovil one time, and first of all, I didn't understand it, so it just took, I didn't have the time for it, but I thought to myself, how are you create your own character, you start out with an apartment, you decorate it however you want to decorate it, and that was my experience with online gaming. And I thought to myself, how do these people that actually have jobs have time for these things? And then, of course, it makes me wonder, you know, the state that our government is in, you know, who's to blame? You know, we want to blame the government, but, you know, should we look within? Are we neglecting our own money managing skills? Are we neglecting our own time? You know, things that we need to be doing to function as a society and a country to get the job accomplished.
Okay. Very good. Very good.